Welcome to Inside New York. We're about to open the fall season on Broadway. And what could be better than celebrating with the unveiling of the newly renovated James Earl Jones Theatre right here on Broadway. We're going to be celebrating the occasion with some of the legendary film and theater actors and performances. So you better stay right there because it's all right here on Inside New York.
Please welcome the chairman and CEO of the Shubert organization, Robert E. Wankel.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. Today, we celebrate the final minutes of the historic Court Theatre and dedicate the new, even more historic, James Earl Jones Theatre. This major construction project has been many years in the making, beginning with a series of airtight transactions, including securing a New York City theater rehabilitation bonus, which required a very complex urban land use review, all overseen by Shubert Vice President of Real Estate, Julio Peterson. Thank you, Julio. The project continued through the pandemic under the leadership of our Senior Vice President of Facilities, John Darby, and a virtual army of Shubert employees from our facilities department, as well as many talented contractors. We appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you for all that work. You'll soon see the interior work of the talented architects. Francisco Russo's painstaking research and brilliant vision is on gorgeous display in the restored theater, and Costco Greenwood's creative design for the new annex is exciting, showing both the old and the new, and you can see the new over there. The rededication of a 112-year-old landmark is also the perfect time to recognize the contributions of those in our Broadway community who have been overlooked in our history, specifically those in the BIPOC community who have performed on our stages or worked behind the scenes. Let this be the beginning of the next 125 years celebrating diversity, equity, and inclusivity at this theater and every Broadway theater. And finally, we dedicate this building as the James Earl Jones Theatre. We honor one of the most legendary Broadway and film stars of all times. He's played 21 Broadway shows, including 14 at Shubert theaters. He is one of the few EGOTs in the world, and that says it all, almost. Because James Earl Jones is not only a great artist, he is one of the most beloved actors on Broadway. Unfortunately, James and his family felt it best for him not to come today for health reasons, but we had the opportunity to visit last week right here at his theater with his family, and we'll be showing you the video a little bit later so you can appreciate how he was overwhelmed with the building. In talking with him, it's easy to see why people in our community care for him so very much. He loves the stage. He's warm, kind, generous, genuine.
You know, make them hear you. Make them hear you. There's a subtext to being here today and honoring, my childhood idol. Sitting in school, going to classes. I used to walk inside the school building, and on the back of the chair, they would have the dummy student. I didn't know why, I just couldn't learn. And it wasn't until I was sitting in college and looked at a documentary about dyslexia and realized I was just dyslexic. I learned differently, but I was able to learn and became on the dean's list after discovering that. But I read about James Earl Jones. He stuttered. he stuttered. And I knew if he was able to overcome that and use that rich voice to become the great actor that he is, I knew that anything was possible. And I knew that I can go from being dyslexic and rejected to being elected. I'm the mayor now. So this moment may be significant for a lot of people because we are putting the lights up with Brother James Earl Jones. Broadway is back. Broadway is back. And there is no more moment for Broadway to be back than to have a nightlife mayor that enjoys Broadway. And to know that when the lights are on Broadway, they're on in America. COVID cannot stop us. And when we light up this theater with the name of James Earl Jones, those who use his story as a subtext to them overcoming their hurdles, it is such an inspiring moment. We used to crowd around the TV and watch every time we saw him on TV as children. From 1969, a different country. It's a different country. We couldn't stand like this together and be inside and enjoy this. He pushed through. And because of that, no one will walk down this block again without looking up and seeing James Earl Jones. So on behalf of the people of this city, whereas in addition to his 2 Tony Awards, James has earned 2 Emmy Awards, a Grammy, an honorary Oscar, making him an esteemed EGOT. Today's renaming of this freshly renovated venue as the James Earl Jones Theatre recognizes all he has contributed and imprint this enormously gifted actor, performer, and leader has made on our dynamic Broadway community. I join everyone in applauding this outstanding actor who has fostered diversity in the arts and shaped the history of theater in New York and beyond. Together, we look forward to the many ways this landmark theater will further enhance our cultural landscape as we take bold steps to come back stronger from the pandemic. Now, therefore, I, Eric Adams, Mayor of the City of New York, do hereby proclaim Monday, September 12, 2022, in the City of New York as James Earl Jones Day.
Okay, now we're going to do the unveil in a minute.
Sounds like a plan.
It'll take 1 second. So before we do the official unveil, I just want everyone to see the video I spoke about a little earlier. We were concerned that James may not be here today, so we had him here last week with his family, and I'm just going to run this two-minute video. Let's roll it.
Oh my God. I spoke my first line ever on Broadway for me in this theater. I was a kid. I forget how old I was. But I had one line in a play that starred Ralph Bellamy and Mary Fickett. It was called Sunrise at Campobello. My first and only line in the play. Mrs. Roosevelt, supper is served. But I said, I couldn't get it out. I'm a stutterer. Mary Fickett stood there patiently. The audience knew I was having problems. I'm a young actor on stage for the first time, and I can't get my line out. But she was very patient till I got it out. Mrs. Roosevelt, supper served, and I exited. I repeated that line every night for a year.
Yeah. And then you became one of the greatest voices in the world.
Well, I gained my voice. I found my voice.
Well, you certainly did quite well at it.
So now, between the two of us, we're going to count to 10, and we're going to do the unveil. Unveil! To my left. Okay. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jones up there. It's up there. Yeah.
And we'll see you again next week on Inside New York.